Hi, Joel.
Tiffany, what are you...
Trevor moved out today.
Welcome back to Recapping. Today we are going to recap a 2014 romantic satire movie titled They Came Together. The owner of an independent candy shop and the corporate stooge who has been sent to shut her down begin an unlikely romance. But before we begin, please consider subscribing to this channel. Now without wasting any further time, let's begin, shall we? Joel and Molly are on a double date with their friends Kyle and Karen when the movie begins. They ask Joel and Molly how they met after Kyle tells them a story about how he and Karen disagreed on the Sunday paper. They describe their relationship as romantic comedy-like. Molly is a quirky and klutzy woman, and Joel is the typical leading man who is attractive without being threatening. Their romance begins in New York City, as it does in most romantic comedies. Joel used to live with his girlfriend Tiffany, who didn't seem to love him as much as he loved her. Molly owns a struggling candy store called Upper Sweet Side with her friend Wanda, and he works for a candy conglomerate called CSR. Joel goes to work and plays catch with his coworker Bob in the office until Joel throws the ball so far that Bob falls through the window and clings to life. Then there's Joel's rival Trevor, who wants to steal a specific account from Joel and has hinted that he'll go to Joel's apartment and have an affair with Tiffany. The bigger issue is that Roland, Joel's boss, wants to open a super CSR store directly across the street from Molly's. She consults her accountant, Egbert, who confirms that her business is in trouble. He also tries and fails to ask Molly out. Joel toys with the idea of asking Tiffany to marry him while playing basketball with his friends. All of his friends have differing viewpoints. Tommy, who is perpetually single, believes that marriage is a bad idea and that the whole point of relationships is to get laid, whereas Teddy, who is happily married, believes Joel should go for it. Oliver, who is a poet, also has a few words to say about love. Joel is persuaded and rushes home to propose to Tiffany, despite the fact that she is having intimate relations with Trevor in the bathroom. Joel does not notice what is going on until he turns around. He walks out of the apartment, heartbroken, and goes to live with his younger, less successful brother Jake. Molly's friend Brenda, who is also Bob's girlfriend, invites Molly to a Halloween party, which means Bob invites Joel so that they can set him up with Molly. Joel and Molly dress up as Benjamin Franklin and run into each other on the street by pure chance. They fight about it and end up walking to the same apartment for the party together. Brenda believes they are already acquainted and that they met by chance. Despite the fact that Joel and Molly spend the entire party sulking, they have a mutual attraction to each other. Joel tells Brenda and Bob that despite the fact that he could see himself with Molly, he thinks she's a bad person. When he turns around and sees her, he is hurt, and she walks away. Molly is with Wanda at her favorite bookstore when she runs into Joel and Jake again. Wanda and Jake decide to leave to avoid the awkward situation. Joel says he wants to get his bubby a fiction book. Molly feels an instant connection with her because they both enjoy reading fiction books. She then invites Joel out for coffee, during which she requests an unusually specific muffin order. Molly falls even more in love with him when he remembers the order word for word. Joel admits on their date that he has always wanted to open his own coffee shop. Cup of Joel, he tries to awkwardly explain the lame pun. Molly even invites him over to meet her sister Catherine and son Tucker, who admires Joel's Pokemon knowledge. Joel, on the other hand, is unable to make the next step because he is still in love with Tiffany. Joel tries to come up with an apology for Molly with the help of Jake. She sees him outside the candy store, but she claims she looks like a chimney sweep, due to her outfit. Molly misses Joel as she and Wanda go through the rom-com dress-up montage, oblivious to the fact that Joel has entered the store. He calls her later and invites her to dinner. They return to her place and have intimacy after that. The two of them eventually become a couple and are seen doing romantic things like playing football with Joel hitting Molly in the face and burying a dead person under a pile of leaves. All of this is set to a Norah Jones song, which has its own music video and Adam Scott and John Stamos as cameos. Joel is invited to meet Molly's parents. Her mother puts Joel to the test by attempting to seduce him, but he rejects her because he is in love with Molly. Joel is irritated when he learns that Molly's parents are white supremacists during dinner. They fight and eventually break up. Tiffany is in Joel's apartment, feeling vulnerable because Trevor abandoned her, and she is relying on Joel as a safety net. He doesn't seem to mind, and they have an unusual level of intimacy. Molly, on the other hand, chooses to date Egbert. Up until New Year's Eve, when Egbert proposes to Molly and she accepts, she and Joel keep running into each other at Bob and Brenda's holiday parties. Joel and Tiffany break up after the party. She claims she was lying the entire time. Joel assumes she's talking about her orgasms, but she pulls off her mask to reveal that she's really Judge Judy. She insists that her orgasms were genuine and advises Joel to get his act together. Months pass, and Joel still can't get over Molly, despite his best efforts. He pays his bubby a visit, and as she tries to tell him a story about a bagel, he quickly deduces that she is attempting to create a metaphor for his life, motivating him to go back to work and reclaim the account he has been trying to reclaim. But before he leaves, he makes obscene remarks about wanting to have intimacy with Bubby. Joel arrives at work during a board meeting, where he stands up and encourages his coworkers and Roland not to open a new store in order for Molly's to stay in business. Roland is so moved that he dismisses Trevor and assigns Joel the account he's been longing for. Joel, on the other hand, resigns in order to pursue his coffee shop dreams and reconnect with Molly. Jake drives Joel to Molly's wedding after finding work as a cab driver. Molly gets cold feet at the wedding and flees. Joel arrives late to the wedding, but he immediately thinks of a place to look for Molly. He convinces the rest of the wedding party to join him in Boston, but Molly is nowhere to be found. They then proceed to Brooklyn Promenade, where Molly can be seen gazing out at the water. Joel tries to reclaim Molly, but is interrupted by her ex-boyfriend, Frank. He also wants Molly back, but she refuses, so he walks away without a fight. Then Catherine and Tucker rush in to inform Molly that her ex-husband Spike has just gotten out of prison and has discovered Joel and wants to kill him. Spike enters swinging a bat, but Joel easily dispatches him. Cops take Spike away and one of the officers shoots him in the face. Molly says they should take it slow and just go out for coffee when Joel proposes to her. They marry a year later, and Joel opens his coffee shop, which is actually just a table outside of Molly's store where he brews generic coffee. So why did you guys decide to get a divorce? Kyle inquires as Joel and Molly finish their story in the restaurant. Joel and Molly reveal that both of their businesses failed, and while Tucker was relieved to have a new father, he was traumatized to witness his biological father being shot in the face. Molly became addicted to pills as a result of her mounting debts, and she resumed her relationship with Frank. Nonetheless, she and Joel agree that they should be friends. Kyle, influenced by his friends, advises Karen to end their relationship. He laughs and says he was joking when she nervously asks if he's joking. Joel and Molly debate whether they should try it again before deciding that they should. Joel then turns around and addresses the camera, saying, "I warned you it was going to be a wild day." And this is where the movie comes to an end. I hope you enjoyed it, as always until next time.